Yo, you tuned in to Guerilla Cross Radio.
Welcome to Let the Ball Bounce. This your host, Dre Bailey.
And this your man, Goose Thomas. What's good, folks?
Mr. Controversy, Block'em Logan is in the building.
Block.
Let me put that back on.
With the bumbleclot block.
Yeah.
It's the bumbleclot block.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Did you block anybody this week?
No, not this week.
Okay, cool.
Not this week.
That's how you keep your life drama free and stress free. When people try to come at you sideways, you don't argue back with them. You just block them.
Yeah.
Especially on that social media, man. It gets kind of crazy sometimes, man.
Yeah.
It gets kind of crazy.
That's my respect to you.
Yeah.
I'm not finna go back and forth.
Finster.
I'm not finna get into no words of cuffs.
Words of cuffs.
Words of cuffs. You know, fist of cuffs. Words of cuffs.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm not about to do it. Bye-bye.
Well,
Why I don't see none of his posts?
Well, you know, I respect everybody's opinion, and actually this week, somebody just flat out said, you know what? This post is disrespectful. F you.
Whoa. Oh, in the group?
I seen that.
In the group.
I missed that.
I seen
To
that.
you?
Yeah, I put a like
Whoa.
on it though.
Whoa. Whoa. Well, you were going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were going to do that anyway.
Yeah, because
Wow.
they didn't like where
Because
I
they
was
didn't
going with
agree.
it. No.
Well, there's been a lot of things that I've said that people don't agree with.
You know what I mean? I could see
on
if
the
I said,
page.
you know, the guy was
Cool.
just a bust, period. You know, but when you put draft in front of that,
I mean,
you know, Boston wasted a draft pick on Len Bias because he never played a game.
Yeah.
And they wasted a pick on that.
I mean,
Ouch.
in theory,
Yeah.
it's true. In theory,
They wasted a pick. He
In
didn't
theory,
get
it is
Oh, well,
absolute
you know, you can't call him a bust because he didn't play. That's the point. He didn't play. Most people are getting called bust, and they get to the league, and then they're just tragic and just can't cope and keep up with what's going on. This man didn't play not 1 minute.
1 minute.
They wasted that pick.
So is bust and disappointment kind of in the same thing when we talk about?
I think bust and disappointment is different, but I think
'Cause I think it's more of a disappointment.
Well, I think it's a disappointment that he didn't play. I think Boston just wasted a pick. I don't think they knew what was going to happen, but by them picking him, it was almost like they didn't participate in the draft at all because their guy that they picked did not play one.
Well, it wasn't a wasted pick, I don't think, because he was slated to go in the top 3,
Was.
and he did.
Yeah, but he never played.
So it was a disappointment that unfortunately what happened to him. But I don't think he was a bust. I think it's more of a disappointment.
I think it was a draft bust. I think that you know, if I was Boston, I would have been, you know, trying to put my papers in with the NBA saying we want another pick.
We want a do-over.
Ouch.
So, Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf, Sam Bowie. Disappointments or busts?
I think they were bust because they were projected.
Bust.
I think they were a bust because they were projected to come in and do big things, and it didn't pan out.
So
They didn't live up to the expectations the media and the so-called sports fanatics put on them.
Right. So, with that being said, Len Bias
Ooh,
does not get to play
at all.
at all because he dies of a cocaine overdose, right?
Tragic.
Super tragic. Does that necessarily make it a bust? Or, to use one of your words, a draft disappointment?
I don't know.
Not draft bust, but a draft disappointment.
That's That was what I said.
That's
I
what
think
he
it's
said.
Right.
Disappointment.
Right.
Because he didn't.
Because I understand what you're saying when you say bust. I get it. But because the man didn't get a chance to actually physically play, what he did to him. Well, I ain't going to say he did it to himself, really. Well, he did. He did.
He did.
He did.
Self-inflicted.
He did. It was self-inflicted. He did something that he hadn't done before, and it exploded his heart.
Right. Ouch.
Got drafted. Went and celebrated with the homies.
Yes.
The one homie pulled out the line.
Yep.
Everybody hit it.
Yep.
It didn't work out for him.
Right.
And I think to come out from just the whole argument whether he was a bust or a disappointment or a failure or just didn't pan out.
Right.
The fact that this man was projected to be the next great thing. I'm talking about he has so much hype surrounding him. It was almost like a LeBron James status coming out of college.
Sure.
Like he completely dominated. He could block shots.
Oh, yeah.
He could rebound.
Extremely
He could dribble.
Extremely
he could run the
versatile.
fast break.
Yeah.
He will dunk on you. He had
Shoot.
a 15-footer. Yeah. He had a 30-footer.
Yeah.
He could take it off the dribble and get to the
Yep.
basket.
Yep.
He could shoot.
Yeah.
Right? This man was projected to be, at that time, what Michael Jordan is
he was-
right now.
He was on that level.
Right?
Yeah.
And he gets drafted by a team who literally just came off a championship, the Boston Celtics. So in hindsight, let's just say Len Bias played and he lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
How many more rings do you think Boston
Oh,
probably
wow.
would have won
Oh,
with
wow.
Larry Bird,
Oh,
McHale,
God.
and
Oh,
all them,
God.
and Len Bias?
Oh, God.
At
Essentially,
least three.
You think people
Essentially-
hate the city of Boston now?
essentially, that was the matchup that they needed against Worthy when they played the Lakers. That's who they.
Interesting.
That was the matchup they needed against
Interesting.
the Lakers.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I think I would have gave the notch to Len Bias because if we're going off of strictly what Worthy did in college and what Len Bias did in college, it's night and day.
Well, I'm just saying that was the matchup that Boston couldn't deal with.
Right.
In those series. That James Worthy enigma. They couldn't they had no answer for him.
Sure.
You know. So you get a Len
Running
Bias
like a
who's just as
gazelle out
athletic
there.
as him and brings just as much to the table as Worthy did. Now you got a kind of even matchup right there.
Okay, so you say Worthy and Len Bias was even?
I think so. At the time.
At
that time.
Sam Stewart brings up a good point, man. Salute to the OG Sam Stewart, man. He says, if you're the Celtics,
Thank you.
right? If you're the Celtics and you waste a draft pick on them, they consider it a bust. So I think in that literature, and this is why I understand where Dre is coming from, where a lot of people just get emotional and
Oh man, he
don't,
talking about a dead
look
guy.
into it, right? Because that's essentially where they go with it.
Len Bias was that
Right?
dude, man. No disrespect.
While I don't fully agree with what he says, I understand where he comes from when he says it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
What my baby cousin's saying.
Got the
I don't
baby.
agree.
Got the baby.
baby.
Put
I don't
in
agree.
front of my name.
But I don't agree. But I understand. I understand it.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a disappointment to me.
Yeah. To me, I just would have to go with Len Bias as a better all around score player than James Worthy. And James Worthy went to the University of North Carolina. I mean, that guy was
one of the most efficient players ever.
Yeah, but he wasn't doing what Len Bias was doing.
No.
Len Bias was the first LeBron James.
Yeah,
he was
just didn't have
doing
that
everything.
skill. He didn't have that all around basketball skill like Len Bias did.
I think Len Bias coming into the league would have had younger legs.
Sure.
Going up against Worthy, and Worthy would have had fits.
Yeah.
The Lakers would have had fits trying to even match up with that dude.
Sure.
Who were they going to put on him?
But see, that's why I
Rambis?
said.
Yeah,
That's
it'd been
why I
tough.
said
It'd been
that
tough.
was the matchup that Boston needed to get past the Lakers and keep their streak going. Lakers probably wouldn't have won.
Right.
Or would have had problems winning a couple more championships playing
Sure.
Boston
Absolutely.
had they had a
even with
fresh-
a young Lynn Bias.
young
now,
Lynn bias.
It
yeah.
wouldn't. I don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah.
Because he was that good.
Yeah.
I mean, because now when you look at the NBA and the landscape of the NBA, give him some time.
Yeah.
Give him a couple of years. To
Trust the
develop.
process.
Trust the process.
I mean, because you look at
wouldn't have had to
James
do that with
Worthy.
Lynn Bias.
You look at James Worthy's game. Now let's look at James Worthy's game.
Mhm.
James Worthy had a mid-range game.
Mhm.
He could run the heck out of the court, and he had a low post game. His defense was, decent.
Right.
So I say when Lynn Bias would have entered the league, it would probably have been even.
Sure.
And probably Lynn Bias would have probably start, pulling off as far as small forward
Right.
against him. 'Cause-
I think it's tragic. I think it's tragic. I miss Lynn Bias. I miss watching him play. I miss what could have been.
Yep.
But
that ACC nights was must see TV.
Yes,
on
it was.
ESPN.
so my post wasn't no disrespect. It was,
ACC and Big East.
Yes.
that I just think that if I was the Celtics, they felt that maybe they
Merlin.
just wasted a draft pick on a guy that won. Now I agree with you, Chris Williams, saying that back in those days everybody did coke. I mean, we in 2019. I see people doing coke still. I mean, but I think his tragedy helped a lot of people in not doing drugs. And when I mean that, I mean
It did.
I was such a Limb Bias guy that when that happened to him, it made me not want to do any drugs.
Yeah.
And it made me say this. Whatever drug you do may be okay for your body chemistry,
Mhm.
but it may stop my heart.
Yep.
Right? So that made me never really want to get involved in that. And it's because of his story.
Well, I got a story. My next door neighbor, she was telling me about when I think I was 15 at the time, and she was telling us never to do cocaine. She said because one of her best friends died from it,
Mhm.
and what it was a bunch of ground up glass,
Oh God.
and I was like,
Wow.
and he snorted it,
Wow.
and you can just imagine what happened to him. after
Bled internally.
Oh, so I was like, oh, I ain't
Every
never
organ.
doing that because you can't tell.
You don't
She
know.
said he
Wow.
couldn't tell. It was
Come on.
ground up fine glass.
Come on, man.
And I was like, oh, I ain't never doing that.
Come on, man.
No.
I have a couple things to throw out
Wow.
there about this.
Wow.
Talking about that was a drug era. So I want to go through the
Sure.
some of the top guys in the draft. First of all, how was Brad Daugherty drafted ahead of Limb Bias with
Yeah.
Cleveland number 1?
Well,
Yeah.
Because back
Brad
then
Doherty,
they
the big man.
coveted
Gotta
big
get the
men.
big man.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
North
That's why
Carolina.
Sam Bowie went before Michael
No-
Jordan.
Another North Carolina.
yeah, and then North Carolina
Doherty.
back in those days, don't get me wrong. If you were coming into the draft, trust me, you were top five
you
draft
were
pick.
getting, You were going
Yeah.
because you played for Dean Smith.
That's-
You were going.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Limb Bias was 2, died of cocaine. Chris Washburn number 3 for the
Mhm.
Golden State Warriors.
Mhm.
Tragic.
72 games,
Mm.
drug and weight issues out of the league.
Mm.
Chuck Person
The rifleman.
played had a long great
Had a
career.
long career.
Kenny
Yep.
Walker number 5 for New York.
Mm.
Won a dunk contest.
That's about
no
it.
no one knew anything
Skywalker.
about the
That's
guy.
about it.
William Bedford, Phoenix Suns.
Woo,
Played 2 years before being suspended because of
drugs.
drug
Drugs.
use. They don't suspend. NBA's never suspended anybody for weed. So when you get suspended because of drugs, it's hard drugs. You're not getting suspended because of weed.
Right.
So just to put that out there, Lamar
Absolutely.
Odom when he got suspended with the Clippers,
Sure.
it's not weed.
Right.
Roy Tarpley,
Yeah,
number 7,
Tarpley.
Dallas Mavericks,
Yep.
drugs, dead in 2015.
Ouch.
Wow.
Cavaliers had Ron Harper.
So-
Chicago Bulls, Brad Sellers.
And let me tell you something. Ron Harper
Ronnie was that dude.
going to
man.
Cleveland
Ronnie was that
was
Yeah.
what Michael Jordan was his freshman. I mean, not his freshman, but his rookie year.
Yeah,
That
Ronnie
dude
was
right
a
there
beast,
was
bro.
balling.
unstoppable.
Yep.
It's the reason why he ended up on those Bulls
Well,
championships.
when he was
Don't
over at Cleveland,
do
About to
that,
mute the
bro.
mic.
Don't do that.
couldn't stop him though.
Couldn't
that
stop
good.
him. And a great defender,
Oh,
too.
man.
Great defensive player, too.
And then you have people like Brad Sellers, Johnny Dawkins for the Spurs. So you start seeing some of the people that stayed. John Sally in the league a long time.
So it's a whack draft.
Well, that top,
very
at
bad
least the top
draft.
It's a
10.
very,
very bad draft. Washington Bullets, John Williams.
Dwayne
Pearl
Washington.
Somebody else, and they don't say it on here, but he dealt with drugs too. That's why he never became what he was supposed to become. Walter Berry.
Yeah.
And that's a dude I thought that was going to be dope
Walter
in the
Berry.
league, man.
Yeah.
And he didn't pan out.
Ouch.
Dell Curry, we saw what he did.
And he was the college player of the year.
He
Yeah,
had
he was,
sex and made Steph Curry.
And he was a great shooter.
Maurice Martin, never heard of him in my life.
No.
Harold Presley. Mark
Allery
from Duke.
Hmm.
Billy Thompson won a championship on the Lakers.
Hmm.
Nothing else. Buck Johnson.
Hmm.
Anthony Jones from UNLV.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Skiles for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
Ken Barlow. Good pick, Lakers.
Is he Ken the Ricky?
No.
Oh,
no.
okay. I just asked. I didn't know.
Anthony Jones was a transfer from where?
And Arvydas Sabonis for
Y'all
Portland,
remember?
who Arvydas didn't play for like 10 years.
Y'all remember where he
years.
transferred from?
Who's that?
Who?
Anthony Jones.
Jones.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
That's right when I started like really paying attention to basketball.
Georgetown.
Yeah.
Oh, he
He
was
left
Georgetown.
John-
That's right.
He left
Yeah.
John
Yep,
Thompson.
John
Oh,
Thompson.
wow.
Yeah,
He
that's
was on.
right.
He was on the national championship
He sure
team.
was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
With Pat
Yeah.
Ewing.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a baller.
Little
Yeah.
tidbit
baller
of
in college.
info right
Yeah.
there.
Light skinned dude.
Yeah. Young light skin.
Yeah.
Light skin was kind of popping back in those
Yeah.
days too. I mean, but right now they on fire.
But we talk about the 84 draft being one of the best drafts ever. The
Yeah.
86 draft,
86.
I'm sorry, that's one of the worst drafts I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
that's crazy.
And it's probably because Len Bias didn't even get to play, so we didn't even get to see. I mean, there's what, 2 All-Stars in this first round?
Wow.
Right.
And back then they was drafting third, fourth.
They
Yeah.
had like 6 rounds, I think, back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I
Wow.
mean, it's a good post.
Yeah.
A lot of good posts.
It
I got
creates
enough.
dialogue.
Yeah,
man.
and it
You know what I'm
does.
saying? And it makes people think because I mean, for a blanket statement to be put out there like that and people not really tap into the essence of it, like we gotta slow down and actually think about what's being said. It's debatable stuff. Let's have a conversation. Let's not say, "Oh, you're wrong. I'm hanging up and I'm getting out of the group." Well, come on, man. That lets me know that you really can't talk sports. If that's your final answer, you can't debate sports. You got to be
Don't
able
be
to
so
debate this.
reactionary.
Exactly.
reactionary.
Just fall back.
Have a discussion.
Exactly.
You might not change your mind,
You might not, and that's okay.
but you get to see another perspective.
Exactly.
And that's where we need to be in
But that's what
2019.
sports
To be.
does. That's what sports does, bro. It's just like fanatics. You know, fanatics, you can't say nothing bad about their team.
I can.
But see, that's the
Tragic.
that's the thing. I'm a fan of my teams, but I'm probably more critical of my teams than anybody.
You have
Yeah,
to
me
be.
too.
I can't be such a homer that I can't see bad things when they happen. Like that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
To be a fan is to be everything. To be a fan when they doing well and when they messing up,
Yeah.
you critique it.
Yeah.
That's what fandom is. It's not just because they winning and you no, that's not real. That lets me know that, man, maybe I can't really talk to you about sports
Right.
or even your team. Not just sports in a broad spectrum, but just your team.
Yeah. Now, what happened to Hank Gathers was tragic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
you know,
Oh man.
I really believe that some accountability from a sports doctor and coach should have kind of stepped in and noticed some things that was taking place as it was taking place.
Sure.
Well, the story behind his death was after they found the heart problem, they put him on the meds.
Mhm.
But the meds, you know how high energy of a player he was.
Sure.
So when
And
he
the
took
type
those
of
meds,
offense that they
yeah.
ran.
So the medicine made him feel sluggish. So they did more tests. Then they found that he didn't really need to be on them, on the meds. And he stopped taking the meds. And we see how high energy he played with.
Right.
And even that last play, he came down and monster dunk, got to mid court,
And
ready for the full court press, and
he had an enlarged
Yeah.
heart, correct?
yeah,
And
That's
got-
I think that's tragic. That's super tragic in that aspect, because you actually see someone who died on the court,
yeah.
right? And we can bring up another name, Reggie Lewis. Now let me ask you this: if your guy goes to the Boston Celtics and he didn't pass away, would the Celtics still had a draft pick to pick up Reggie Lewis? Because if that's the case, Reggie Lewis and
Yeah.
Lynn Bias.
Yeah.
Lynn Bias,
Yeah.
boy, please, that's
Yeah.
another 2 more rings. That's 2
At
more
least,
rings.
At least.
Mhm.
And again, that wasn't the era of, we're just going to wait and bring them along. No.
Oh no.
You coming in right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's right now.
Yeah. The training wheels. The training wheels was off.
Training wheels off, dog.
As soon as you got drafted,
Right now.
it's no
Yeah.
training wheels.
How about yesterday?
Yeah. And you want to
Yeah.
talk about a high energy guy? Reggie Lewis played his
Yeah.
all his games in college,
Mhm.
and then to get drafted by the Boston Celtics, man, he was expected to be the next best thing. I wouldn't consider him a bust because he didn't come into the league. He overachieved. Nobody thought that Reggie Lewis would do what he was doing in the league.
Sure.
He was making it look extremely easy.
Yeah.
Sure. Man. We can go on about this all
You know what I
day.
mean? And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because these are some of the players that are forgotten when we're talking about some of the greats of all time. You never bring up Lynn Bias, Reggie Lewis, Hank Gath. People never bring those names up when talking about some of the best of all time.
Instead of saying, you know what, just from a skill set perspective,
Yeah.
such and such is one of the best I've ever seen. No, of course, length of career gets brought into it. Average gets brought into it. All this where people get analytical.
Rings.
Rings.
Yeah.
I mean, from a skill set perspective, was he good or was he not?
Yeah.
It's a yes or no question. And if you can say yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Speaking
So-
about a tragic situation, have you guys seen the article and the video of one Victor Page, ex
Unbelievable.
Georgetown Hoya,
Unbelievable.
who spent a lot of time after college in and out of prison.
Yep.
On, drugs, possession, sexual assault, and things like that.
Mhm.
Oh.
And he attacked
On video.
a
It's on video.
Yeah,
it's really sad.
he attacked a young girl and really was
Yeah,
attempting
yeah.
to try to
He was trying to-
sexually
he was
assault
trying to
her.
rape her.
We're talking about Victor
I did not
Page.
see that.
We
Yes.
were talking about Victor Page, who arguably, now this would be a great post, arguably was the best person on that
He might have
Georgetown
been the best
team
player on the team.
with AI.
Yeah.
He may have been a little bit better than AI.
I wouldn't argue. with
Nobody
you.
want to talk about that
I
though.
wouldn't argue. I'm not going to argue that. Of course, AI had the name moving forward, but when you're talking about that team in particular,
Ooh,
Victor Page did a lot. He did a lot for
Victor
that
had
basketball
that
team.
man.
So
That left hand jumper was unstoppable.
Yeah.
You couldn't stop him going to the bucket, and he was a two-way player. He could defend.
yeah,
tragic.
Unbelievable. He looks horrible.
Vic.
Oh, he looks pitiful, bro.
Vic.
That's sad.
Like watching that on camera, and it was funny. TMZ, of all people, you already know what that is, but watching that, like nobody came to that girl's aid for a good 5 minutes, bro.
At least
It seemed like
it seemed that long.
Watching it seemed like an eternity. What do you think it felt like for her being in that moment? Watching it felt like I'm like, yo, is somebody gonna show up? Like I'm tapping the screen, like, yo, is somebody come from behind that behind the building already? No. Seemed like forever.
Yeah, I think it's tragic, bros.
Sad stuff, man.
What's sad is,
And you know, when he couldn't extend his basketball career, that's probably why he went that route.
yeah, because you know when he got out of college, there weren't such things as G League or D League, places for him to kind of, maybe move up. Because I would have loved to see a guy like Stacey King, who was, probably one of my favorite guys on that Michigan team, make it to the league, but he just didn't pan out either. Ray Jackson.
Who's your favorite college player of all time?
Ooh, my favorite. Now that's a great question. I want to answer that one. My favorite college player of all time. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch as many Michael Jordan college games as I would have liked, right? But I'm talking about from start to finish, I would have to say Rasheed Wallace for North Carolina.
It's funny. I'm a North Carolina fan. Not one player. But now I loved Antoine Jameson.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh yeah.
He was a player of the year.
Yeah.
His last year there. But Derek Coleman was my favorite college player ever.
Syracuse.
Yes, sir.
That dude was a beast.
Lucky lefty. I loved watching Derek Coleman play basketball.
And see that was hard for me to say because I was teetering with the Antoine Walker over in Kentucky. And then just that everybody who was coming through Kentucky, like the Ron Mercers, the Derek Andersons, the Khalid Alameen, I could have threw him in there. Ray Allen,
bowling ball Khalid Alameen.
Yeah.
Khalid Alameen looked like this water jug.
The Lawrence Moten, the Lawrence Motens of the world.
Moten, wow, that's a different name.
Yeah. The Michael Dickersons from Arizona of the world.
Interesting.
See, all those dudes was my boy. The Khalid, the Terry DeHares. I mean, these were straight ballers in college.
DeHare, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Yeah.
But Rasheed Wallace for North Carolina.
She was a monster, bro.
Ooh.
She was a monster. I say none of those were actually my favorite guys, but George Lynch, man, was
George Lynch was dope.
George Lynch was dope. That's where I kind of got, as far as my game was concerned, he would knock down that 15 to 17 footer on the baseline. I think that's where I started thinking I can shoot.
Miles Simon.
They had some dope Arizona teams, bro. Super dope.
They did, man.
Terry.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Ed O'Bannon from UCLA.
Ed O'Bannon. Yeah, that's what Kareem said his favorite.
Larry
player.
Johnson,
Ed
Stacey
O'Bannon, bro.
Ogman.
Yes.
And one of my dark horse favorites to watch, and I watched him live a lot, J.R. Ryder.
Yes.
What?
Watching him live
Wow.
in college dunking on everybody at 6'4".
Interesting.
He was
Interesting.
dope
Well,
to
my
watch
two-
live, and that's when UNLV was like not able to be on TV much
Right,
either. You
right,
know?
right. And they were in the WAC at that time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
My two players was the players that we were just talking about. I could not wait to see. I think it was Wednesday night ACC basketball, and watching Lynn Bias
Boy.
and Big East basketball. Dude, Walter Berry. Walter Berry was that man
Yeah, he
in the Big East back then. I mean, he was unstoppable on the post, and I used to love watching them too. So, there's been others, but I think those two was like my favorite ones to watch.
Allen Iverson was dope to watch. Jalen Rose, obviously, I named my son after Jalen.
Yeah.
Jalen Rose was man. You know, C. Webb, Ray Jackson.
Yes,
Yeah.
the whole Fab Five.
squad.
I mean, my 8th grade AAU team was called the Fab Five because of that. I wore 25 because of Juwan Howard.
Let me hold on.
That's why
Hold
I
on.
did it.
Juwan
Juwan
Howard
had
was probably
silly
the
game,
most
bro.
valuable
Silly
person
game.
on that Fab
Absolutely.
team.
To me, he was the leader of the team.
Yes, he was. People don't even bring his name up.
Everybody followed him.
Yes, they
What
did.
what Juwan Howard did, everybody else did,
Yep.
bro.
Yeah.
Like he was the leader of that team, in my opinion.
He's an NBA lifer too.
No doubt.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
No doubt.
He's gonna
Still
be
coaching?
he's gonna be over there in Miami. They're gonna have a coaching job for him
Good.
soon.
Good.
He's still
Good.
playing in the league.
Call
Suit him up.
your guy, Dre Bailey.
Your man Goose Thomas.
Mr. Controversy himself, Bill Logan. Caller. What's your name? What's your question?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Big Les cracking.
What
Hub
up?
City's
What up,
finest.
Les?
Let's
Up,
pick it in the building. What up, Carl?
Not much, Loke, man. Just chilling here watching these Houston games.
Yeah.
Got the volume down while I'm listening to y'all.
Yes, indeed, man. You can do
You
two
know,
things at once. Ain't that something?
Multitasking.
Yeah, you can
Multitasker.
multitask.
Wow.
Yeah, you can
I
multitask.
think people was
Yeah,
5
I was,
years old around here.
Multitasking is a good
Man,
thing,
it's
man.
a beautiful
Oh, yeah.
thing, man.
Yeah.
What's good,
Yeah.
Les? What's on your mind, big bro?
Yeah, I was just chiming in when you guys are talking about your college players. I just wanted to mention Kenny Anderson was one of my favorites to watch. You know, I know he didn't have a long college career, but the year he was at Georgia Tech,
Ooh.
you know, I thought I was Kenny Anderson, man.
Who else was on that team with him? What other sharpshooter was on that
he
team
know.
with
He
him?
know.
D.
Who's
Scott.
that other guy? Yeah, D. Scott, yeah.
D. Scott.
Yeah, he was.
And,
Hey, man, Kenny Anderson was a monster, bro. Kenny
Yeah,
Anderson
yes,
was
sir,
a
yes,
monster,
sir.
bro.
Let me ask you.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this, Les. You like Kenny Anderson? Who has the better handles, Kyrie Irving or Kenny Anderson?
Wow, that's a good question, Dre Day. Wow.
Can I say this real quick? Can I say this real quick before you chime in? I think
Yeah, go ahead.
personally, handles look better from left-handed players. I don't know what it is, bro.
Yeah.
But when you
Yeah.
see a point guard with just silly handle,
Yeah.
it looks better coming from a lefty. It's kind of like a swing in baseball.
I
It's
always
kind of
give,
like a
Right.
swing in
I
baseball.
always give it to the old school cats because
Yeah.
you couldn't carry back then,
Of course.
like
No.
you can now.
Right.
No.
They changed the rules up on traveling and dribbling.
Right.
So when Isaiah and Kenny
Right.
Anderson and Rod Strickland were doing that stuff,
Rod Strickland.
bro, you,
Rod,
You could there was
Rod had handles too, man.
Boy,
no,
please.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
Rotted
No doubt.
DePaul, yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Wow.
But
Oh,
I
my
just think it
goodness.
looks better coming from a lefty. Like I said, kind of like a swing in baseball. Albert Pujols, great swing,
Yeah.
right-hander.
Yeah, like a
Ken
Darryl
Griffey,
Strawberry
best
or
swing
something.
all time. Like it's
Daryl
no-
Strawberry.
Oh,
yeah.
left
Come on,
hand-
dog.
Ooh.
Come on, dog.
left-handers do everything better.
They
I
do
just want to
everything
put that
like
out there.
that. Like
Huh.
it's just, like, what you had said.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, what you think about that, Les? Man, who's your guy?
Well, to answer Dre's question, just skill wise, I would have to lean a little bit more towards Kyrie. He
Mhm,
can do more things
mhm.
than Kenny Anderson could do from an offensive standpoint.
Shot.
You know,
I'm with that.
but like Quan said, I think just pure handles. Like you said, it was a lot of rules different back then, so
Yeah.
you couldn't carry, you couldn't do certain things. So to Quan's point, yeah, you could easily say Kenny Anderson probably had the better handles by a nod.
Right.
But just overall skill level, I think Kyrie might edge him out
I go-
when you're just talking about a complete offensive player.
Mm.
You know, but yeah, Kenny Anderson was one of my favorites to watch back then when y'all were talking about favorites. So I just had to
Yeah.
chime in and mention him. I didn't want y'all to forget about him, man. Even though he
Absolutely.
only had one season at Georgia Tech, but you know,
right.
he kind of just took it by storm when he got there. You know, especially coming from New York to go down there. You know,
Right.
usually those guys end up going to Georgetown, Syracuse, these type of schools.
They stick around, yeah.
And,
St. John's.
And he, St. John's, you know, all the Big East schools. So for him to go down there and kind of get Georgia Tech kind of on the map, you know, that was something. So I had to mention Kenny, man.
That's what's up, man.
That's a
good
pick,
one.
bro.
But
you know,
Dre, I was going to ask you about your post, man. You got some interesting comments on there, man, about the Lynn Bias thing.
Yeah, man.
and a FU to go with it.
Yeah.
A few of them.
Yeah.
A few of them.
Man, that's
a few
great.
of them. But to your point, though, you were saying about, you know, how coaches or doctors should have noticed certain things about certain guys' heart ailments, and you guys are speaking on Hank Gathers from Loyola Marymount, and it kind of brought me back, and I was thinking the same thing that you had said, Dre. I don't know how you could fix it, because you got kids. I think I posted something in the group probably about 2 weeks ago about a kid from Brooklyn dying on the basketball court at practice. High school kid, 16-year-old, and he, I guess, allegedly had a heart problem, but nobody detected it, or he wasn't on any kind of medication or nothing. He just dropped.
Right.
And when you brought that up about coaches and doctors, team doctors, you know, I was just kind of wondering how could something like that go unnoticed or undetected?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't undetected. They found out that he had a heart problem, and they put him on meds. But I mean, we all seen him play, and he was just, I mean, high energy. Loyola Marymount played a high energy type of game. You know, when they make a bucket, they made a bucket, they was pressing right away. So
that's Paul West said. That's
it was like, you know, to play that style of ball, he had to have a lot of energy, and taking those heart medication took him off. And they kind of said, well, okay, if it's making you feel that way, then we're going to kind of scale back. Yeah, I think they scaled back the dosages or something like that. And you know, he felt like that still's not working. I need to just still making me feel sluggish. So I need to get off of it. So they said, okay, now you know that wouldn't happen today. Because that's another reason. That's another reason why Chris Bosh. That's another reason why Chris Bosh is not playing anymore. Because you can't
take that.
That's too serious. The heart, man, this dude can drop on the floor at any time. So that's just negligence. How Loyola Marymount handled that. That's negligence, you know. And I think his mom sued the university for them.
She sued them. I think they were held liable for that or something. If I remember the case correctly. And
rightfully so.
Like I said, like you said, today that wouldn't fly because of, you know, all the technology now and different rules and stuff. But you're right. I think they were held liable for that because they did make the call to take him off those medications, and his death, and say who else died? We was talking about Reggie Lewis.
What about the kid from Maryland that just recently?
Well, we was talking
away?
about Reggie Lewis. Their deaths from heart ailments make it where it is today. We're not going to play with it. If you got a heart problem,
and that's kind of what they did with Jeff Green. They sat him out. And he had heart surgery, and he had to go through series of tests in order just to get back. Now, to me, he doesn't seem like he plays too extremely hard. You know, he don't. You know, I don't.
Smooth game, dog.
You know, and Channing Frye, Channing Frye too, with the heart issue, and things like that. So, you know, it's. You know, you have to watch.
Yeah, it's a touchy situation. Like I said, the kid in Brooklyn, he was just 16 and he just dropped dead on the practice floor. And his mom, nobody knew anything really. You know, like I said, he obviously it was a heart-related death according to the coroner, but he had no history of any kind of heart problems, and he wasn't on any type of meds, anything, and he just, you know, like I said, dropped dead in the middle of practice. And I just thought, you know, from a medical standpoint, how could something like that go undetected? You know, those kids take physicals and do these things. I know they don't go through the battery test like Dre said, maybe like a professional athlete,
right,
or a college athlete, D1, D2 athlete does. but you know, it's still just tragic. You know.
Yes.
Great call,
great.
man. That's a great call, man.
Appreciate you, Les P.
Thanks for
All right, yeah, for
not
sure, man.
thanks for
sure.
not cussing me out on my post. You
No,
said
it
you
was
were
an
there.
interesting. It was an interesting take. You know,
Yeah.
you gauge the room, you check the temperature of the room, and
Yeah.
you know that was like Goose said. That's what sports is about. That's what sports debate is about. You know, you can have a discussion without getting too personal, even if we don't agree. You know, you still should be able to have a discussion and not leave the group because somebody disagreed with you or they thought differently than what you thought. But like I said, it was a good post, Dre. I had one for you earlier. I don't know if you saw it. I said, I think Jeff Fisher deserves a Super Bowl ring for putting that Rams defense and that vision together.
And then did you see my post? Did you see my comment right under it?
Yeah, you said Mark Jackson should get a ring too, right?
I said Mark Jackson equals Jeff Fisher. Same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, y'all, thanks for taking my call, man.
Absolutely,
I'm going to get back and check out the rest of the show, man. And y'all have a good night, man. And we'll chat it up on the group page later on.
Yes,
you know
indeed, man.
All right, bro.
Les Pickett in the building, Hub
Yeah,
City,
yeah,
man. Finest, man. Big ups to him out there.
It's funny, man, that we talk about, we're talking about, deaths and, heart problems. I discovered that I had a heart murmur in the 10th grade. Annual physical right before, football camp started, my sophomore year at Cheyenne. I found out I have a heart murmur. Now,
I think Sherm has one too.
yeah, Sherm, yeah.
Because he had a little heart
Shout out
scare.
Sherm, yeah, absolutely. And, when I went, like, that immediately scared me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yo, what the?
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing sports year round. I'm always active. How the hell I got a heart murmur, bro? Like, what is really going on right now? So I had to go back for several weeks after that, and I was actually held out of, certain parts of practice because of it. So I didn't really get to practice fully until we actually got back to school 2 weeks later. Like the week before our first game.
Now, what about the doctors? Did you get any? Did you seek any help?
Well, yeah. This is what happened when we got sent to our annual physical. Is when it actually was discovered. We actually did our physicals at the UMC Quick Care.
Right.
So doctors were already on hand, and when they discovered it, like I said, I had to go back, a few times to, monitor it. And, they said it wasn't no holes in my heart or nothing like that. It was just, it just, something just wasn't right at the time. So they wanted to make sure that everything's, was still in line.
Right.
But that was scary. I'm 15 years old, bro.
Yeah.
A heart murmur? I got heart problems at 15? Come on, man. That's not supposed to happen. So, I mean, with all of this, stuff circulating, like we mentioned, the kid over at Maryland, just dropping dead, man. Spring practice just dropped dead. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff.
I think we need to do a lot more. Young kids, if you're young and you're listening to the show and you're thinking about what you should be when you grow up, how about getting into some sports medicine? We need more doctors. We need more sports psychiatrists. We need more sports. We need all of that. And so there are plenty of jobs that you can make plenty of money, and you can tap into that field, man, where you'll be needed. Yeah. So,
and I think it's vital too for parents to get their kids extensive physicals before they play football or basketball or baseball, because you need to find these things out. You don't want to be like that kid, just falling out and dying, and
and even
because they probably would have found something.
Yeah,
sure.
Had he had an extensive, test, but
and even psyche valves. A lot of times, we tell the kids that as long as your grades are right, you pass a physical, you could play. But nobody's giving these kids psyche valves too.
Yeah.
You don't know that some of the kids that you may be coaching, you may have to learn how to coach them a certain way, because you may have a kid that is, may have borderline schizophrenia or bipolar or depression.
And there's a lot of
You
that
know,
going on with
and
these kids
right?
nowadays.
And so you may have a kid on the sideline or on the bench that look like he has an attitude, he's not engaged. But if you do more research on that child, you may find out that, he may have got his butt whooped last night for something he totally didn't do, and he's depressed about it. He's thinking about committing suicide. A conversation is worth having instead of saying that kid right there has bad body posture on the bench and he's not getting in the game.
Right.
Come on, man. We got to do a little bit more as far as putting into our youth.
I guarantee you Gorman has that.
Oh, no doubt about it. They got all of that
But
on hand.
Yeah, but
Like at
the
at
Clark
the spot.
County School District,
Negative.
Right?
no.
I had a one of my best friends, man, Mario Hagan, man. Rest in peace, Mario Hagan. One of the best running backs I've ever seen. One of the best athletes I've ever seen. Came out of Chaparral High School. We played AAU basketball together. He was a dual threat running back at Chaparral. Could run it, could catch it, could block, could do everything. He was on his way to Cal Berkeley full-ride football scholarship at that time. Something was going on where he had to take another class. Some academic stuff wasn't right.
Right.
And to this day, I don't know if that was the sole reason why he took his own life, but that's what was relayed to us as his friends. Mario Hagan, one of the smartest dudes I've ever met in my entire life. Not only was he a great athlete, the dude was like a 3.7, 3.8 average student as well.
Right.
So he wasn't dumb. I guess he had spoke to some academic advisors at Berkeley, some words that he may not have understood at the time as a 17, 18-year-old kid, might have got misconstrued.
Mm-hmm.
And he may have thought that his scholarship to Cal Berkeley was done. His parents come home and find him hanging in the shower.
Wow. An Officer and a Gentleman. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Great movie.
Like, come on, man.
Tragic. That's
Yeah.
tragic.
So when you mention sports psychologists, that's probably more important than anything.
Yeah.
We got to tap into the psyche of these people,
We
man.
do.
Like when you going from one level to another where the stakes are higher, like we need to know where your mindset is.
Right. Because I'm pretty sure some of my high school coaches, looking at, because it's hard for me to hide the demeanor on my face.
Wear my
And
heart on my sleeve too.
right. And a lot of times I wasn't mad at whoever was on the team or the coach. I'm mad because I missed a wide open layup or that jump shot I knocked down 50 out of 50 times. I may be mad at myself. So while you're taking me out thinking I'm mad because you reprimanded me or, whatever,
Right.
it may not be the issue that you think it is.
That must run in our family
Right?
because me and my brother was the same way.
You feel me?
We
Hated it,
we
bro.
hated to lose. And
Oh, we're sore losers.
And we wore our hearts on our sleeve
Man.
on whatever we was doing.
Whatever.
Matter.
Football, basketball, baseball. It didn't
Or
matter.
Monopoly.
Track,
It didn't
whatever.
matter.
It didn't matter.
Right.
And so I know exactly what you mean. It's like you beat yourself up when you
know better.
you know better. And you're like, dude, why did I drop this pass?
Yep.
It's like trying to run too, trying to
Yeah.
turn and run too fast,
Right.
or my brother would be upset at himself for making mistakes or some game. My brother was like, in '85, he was like one of the best athletes in the state. And same thing, but he would be so upset when we get home after after they won or lost, he would just put it all on him.
And and there are a lot of kids and there are a lot of adults that I still play basketball with that are sore like I am a sore
Yeah.
loser.
Yeah.
Like when we lose and pick
Scrap.
up ball or whatever,
I don't like it.
I'm not mad at the team.
Yeah.
I'm mad because we should have beat that team or
Sure.
we lost or
Sure.
I'm replaying things in the back of my mind saying, what could I have done more or better to help us get that victory, man, it is the worst thing. I'm talking about like no sleep.
Or losing to a team
No, you should have beat.
it's like
It's tragic.
Turnovers are the first thing that pop in my head.
That's my number one thing.
Like I rewind and think, Donnell, how many times did you turn the ball over, bro?
Or how many times the ball's been turned over.
Yeah, just period. But I always bring it to myself, like, how many errant passes did you throw, bro?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, come on, man. But I mean, shout out to my frat brother, Brandon. He's in the group. He's a sports medicine doctor, man. He does a phenomenal job. He's out at Baylor
Nice.
now, I believe, man. And looking, to go elsewhere as well, man, to further his career, man. We need, especially African Americans, in
Yes,
these
we do.
spots.
We do.
We need these type of people behind the scenes, man, to make sure that not only are the athletes healthy physically, but healthy
Mentally.
Yeah.
Because if you're not mentally healthy,
Right.
your physical health means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And we've seen a couple of NBA players and football players and baseball
Yeah.
players who've struggled mentally, and it shows.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In a team sport.
Yeah.
Now, if you're dealing with something mentally and tracking,
Oliver McCall.
right?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Come on, man.
Y'all
that man!
remember that?
I mean, he
Come on,
cried
dog.
like a grown baby, not a little baby, a grown baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know
It's
what I
like,
mean?
Ollie, what's wrong, brother?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about boy.
Man.
Like hard.
Man.
Like you was like, wait a minute, did he just find out some real bad news right now?
Ryan Leaf,
Yeah.
classic example. It's classic.
Todd Marinovich.
Todd Marinovich. Like, these are classic examples right now.
Todd Marinovich he said that his dad forced him to play football and quarterback for so long to a point where he just didn't want to do it no
Yeah.
more.
Yeah,
He was
I'm
over
out.
it.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
out. I'm done.
He'd have him up at 4:00 in the morning, running,
Yeah.
lifting weights.
Yeah. Like, I don't want
Then when he got home, drinking kale smoothies.
That part.
Can I have some bacon and eggs today? No.
Nah.
Need some real food.
No bacon and
Dad?
eggs.
Yeah. Lawrence
Kale
Phillips.
smoothie.
How about Lawrence Phillips?
Lawrence Phillips.
Yeah.
That's a tragic story.
Now that's tragic.
I mean, come on, man.
You want to talk about a person that has so much potential.
Come on, bro.
Aaron Hernandez, so much potential. Bam Morris,
Bam Morris.
so
Wow.
much potential.
Wow. Bam Morris.
Couldn't
Wow.
keep
Wow.
his hands off.
You want
women,
to talk
though.
about another person who wore his heart on his sleeve? T.O.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. No doubt.
Chad Ochocinco.
Yeah, these are competitors right now.
These are real life competitors.
I go at it when I'm playing Jenga, when I'm playing Taboo.
Boy.
Look, if you don't want to see the competitive side of Goose, don't play Taboo with me, man. Just don't.
play nothing with me.
Just don't. Don't. If you don't want to see the competitive nature come out, don't play Taboo with me.
Well,
Don't
look.
play spades with me.
Look, we play kickball, and I love this man over here, William Logan. But guess what? You gotta get from that position and get another spot because we trying to win.
Trying to win.
Who trying to hear Shorty
Oh, my God.
all day?
Shout out to Shorty Doo-Wop, man. Shorty 2K in the building. Enrique 2K. That's our guy. But we was trying to win, dog.
We try need you out of there.
Third base. Third base.
And I'm no kickball guru. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Right. Oh, man. Just competitors, man.
That's it.
That's just what it is. I hate losing.
Well, let me tell you who also is a dope competitor and hate losing, and that is one Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson is bringing his competitive edge, his not wanting to lose edge over to the Lakers to
The
run
management,
things,
the
to management,
Yes.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And so that's what type of player that and person that the Lakers got in Magic Johnson.
Yep.
And so naturally you're going to have drama surrounded with the fact that they got LeBron James
Yeah.
and Magic Johnson over there, who are two of those guys are two of the biggest competitors on the same team trying to go for the same goal. There's going to be some drama surrounded with that. and one Anthony Davis for the New Orleans Pelicans, who's out this game right now against the Houston Rockets.
Couple of weeks now.
Yeah,
a week or so.
Has basically told his agent Rich Paul that he wants to be traded, and he only wants to be traded to one team.
And he's been fined $50,000 by the National Basketball Association too.
I actually have Anthony Davis's reaction to that fine. If we can get that,
Please do.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Fool, I'm worth $38 million.
All
You
right.
better stop. I
Boy.
made $38 million this year.
I'm giving up $80 million to get out of here.
Ouch.
Right. Essentially. So what's your $50,000?
Yeah.
Oh, he's stupid. He should stay in New Orleans. They could offer him $240 million, the super max, highest paid NBA player in National Basketball Association history.
They don't do that anymore, people.
So
They don't do that anymore. These players not taking long-term deals like
Not at all,
Mike
man.
Conley
Wake
Jr.
up.
was the highest paid
Yeah.
player at one point.
Yeah.
So
Well, look at what they gave Steph
care.
Curry. He's
And like-
in the 200 range.
And like I told somebody who was saying that, I said, look, a player like Anthony Davis don't have to do that. But a player like Mike Conley has to.
Oh, yes.
7 years.
Oh yes.
He has to take that.
He has to take
because
that bag.
that's the last deal he's going to
That's
get.
the very last deal he'll get.
So, yeah. where's
Everything
the
else
pen?
will be for veterans
the pen?
minimum.
Yeah.
From this point on,
Yeah.
Mike Conley
Yeah.
Jr. will be playing for the vet minimum.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Never
So,
gonna get that bag again.
right,
Yeah.
like Spencer Dinwiddie. He has to take what's offered in front of him
Yeah.
because he can't go out and play the market. He may not get what
He got a
think
nice little bag,
and
though.
that's
Yeah,
what
he
I'm
did.
saying.
I mean, to be coming off the bench, he got a nice little
That's what I'm
bag.
saying. But can
Yeah.
you? I mean, is any other team going to give him more than that? Like at that time, this we're talking about a guy that just came from the D League,
Yeah.
man.
Right.
And I mean, if I was in the D League and I made an NBA roster and I played my mind out and I'm about to be a free agent and they offer me $9 million extension, I'm not thinking about it. I'm gonna
Taking
take
it.
this bag
Yes.
real quick
Taking
We
that.
get that.
and continue to prove my worth.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. It was
So-
it was the same thing with Simmons when he left the Spurs and went to Orlando. Like he wasn't gonna get, even though he played well. We haven't heard from him since.
Right.
You noticed that?
Yeah.
He had to strike while the iron was hot.
Mhm.
And I think he signed what was it, a 4-year, $40 million deal with Orlando, something to that nature.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Spencer Dinwiddie, but I actually think Spencer Dinwiddie has longevity. I actually think he can actually be pretty good in this league
Right.
because he came from when we first saw him at the skills competition, and people were like, "Who is Spencer Dinwiddie? Who is this dude?"
No,
Right?
he was good.
Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see where he goes from here. I mean, coming off the bench and still being able to produce like he has. I mean, he's been hurt, here this part of the season here leading up to the All-Star break. But I mean, I'm interested to see where he goes from here. Honestly.
Right.
So, Spencer
Well,
Dinwiddie,
Anthony
man.
Davis, man, Lakers are really wanting this guy. Do you think that the Pelicans are asking for too much?
No. When you're talking about a player of this caliber,
Boy, Lonzo Ball, boy, take him
you can have him.
and his daddy
You can
and his
yeah.
newborn.
Yeah, we'll give you all three. We'll give you Lonzo, his dad, and we'll give you the newborn baby. It's a handsome little thing.
Pretty little thing.
Pretty little thing.
Pretty little
I mean,
thing.
come on, man. You're talking about one of the premier bigs in the league. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get that. Absolutely.
Plus,
I mean, you're looking at
Kuzma?
They want Kuz.
if
Now-
you
now-
notice,
now-
they haven't been
look,
saying they wanted.
Nobody said they
B.I..
wanted B.I. Not a soul.
Boy, I'm out of here.
It's crazy. Now, as a Laker fan, of course, I hate to see Kuzma go
Mm.
because of just how he's developed
Right.
as a player.
But
But if I'm getting a 25-year-old, I'm getting a 25-year-old Anthony Davis. He's
25. I mean, he could sign
25.
he could sign a 3-year and turn around and sign another 3-year.
Yeah.
He's 25.
Man,
He could do that. he could do that for the next 10 years.
That
yes,
part.
he can.
And kill the game because that's how
Yes.
LeBron James started
Yeah.
it. LeBron James started that short term, not taking no long term. He's like, you know what? I'm going to sign a 2 or 3 year deal. I'm going to get the max out of those 2 or 3 years. And then I'm going to do another max in another 2 or 3 years. And then another max every 2 or 3 years. This guy has helped revolutionize what today's NBA is. And NBA players have followed along. You have not seen one NBA player, unless he was super desperate to get them chips, sign a
Mike Conley
6
Jr.
to 8 year deal.
Mike
Yeah.
Conley Jr.
Didn't Westbrook sign the max deal?
Yeah,
too?
he signed. Yeah, I think his was
I
5.
think it's
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, it was
But he get the
Five is as
option.
most as you can
he
even
get
do
the-
now with the
five
new
is the
CBA.
He get the
most. Yeah.
option after 4 though.
Yeah, new
Who
CBA.
wouldn't do
The
that?
most you could do is 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 7 year.
I
7
almost
year
texted
deal,
you earlier to let you know I was leaving the group on Facebook because I'm a diehard Laker fan, and there's some Laker fans in there that are making me not want to be Laker fan.
It's been a
They
whole
said
lot.
this is too much to give up for Anthony Davis.
No.
It's
No.
not.
Listen, give
It's
up
not.
every single player you
It's not.
have for Anthony Davis
and
because
they're throwing in Stevenson. Stevenson.
Well, I don't-
Land-
I don't-
and who
Lance.
else they throw in? I
Was
mean,
it-
they could even throw in Ingram and KCP. Like, you
Right.
give up anything you have to
Right.
for Anthony Davis. And guess what? You still have money for a max player
Yes.
this summer.
Yes, you
You
do.
guys are stupid.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Some of you guys are really stupid. And I don't know what you do. I
It's
don't know who you
crazy.
talk to.
It's crazy.
I don't know what you watch or listen to or
Unbelievable stuff.
why you don't use Google.
I don't understand.
But Google,
it.
why am I stupid?
I don't understand it. You have
Give
a
up everything
chance.
for one of the best players
Yes.
in his position, maybe
Yes.
of all time when it's
Yeah.
all said and done.
I mean, look. From a skill set point, from a skill set perspective, for being able to do what Anthony Davis does.
But he can't stay healthy.
Look, man.
The minimum he's ever played is 61 games. He hasn't been like out that
No.
much.
And if you're playing in New Orleans
Sit
for
out.
that
Come
team,
on, man.
boy, I'm sitting out today.
I'm sitting out
Take
too.
your breaks.
I'm sitting out too.
Your left finger hurts.
Bye.
Sit out 3 weeks.
Look what
Bye.
Steph Curry do every damn year, and he play on the best team in the league.
I think what's going on behind the scenes is Magic is trying not to give up some of those players,
Right.
but he's going to have to.
Yeah.
You know?
Magic, you need to come up off that Lonzo Ball train that you own. You need to come up off of BI. You need to come up off of KCP, and you throw Josh Hart and a first-round draft pick in there, and you just call it a day. If you can keep Kuzma, you keep him. But if one of the stipulations is you have to get rid of Kuzma and you keep Brandon Ingram, you keep Brandon Ingram and you use him as trade bait a little later.
Mhm.
What is wrong with that?
I don't see anything wrong with it at all. Like, we're talking about the premier big in this league. Like, this is not Tyler Johnson. See, a lot of people don't know who that is, but yeah,
Boy.
he got a $50 million bag from the
Yes,
Miami
he did.
Heat
Yes, he
a
did.
couple years ago. I'm like, who is Tyler Johnson?
that
Did
part.
anybody watch this kid play in college?
50 million.
I know I didn't. I may have and just didn't know. But I mean, he's a nice player. but
50 million.
50 M's? Yikes. Not sure about that. But this is the
NBA is
premier
so
big in the
liberal
league.
Yeah.
with they ends.
Come on, bro.
Hey,
Come on. I mean, and like you know, I was discussing with Quan and Bill before you came in, Dre. We talking about KCP on an expired contract. We talking Rajon Rondo on an expired contract. Now, if I'm the New Orleans Pelicans, that really doesn't necessarily do me any good because those are throwaways that probably won't re-sign with me anyway. So if I'm New Orleans, I'm not really going after expired contracts.
Mhm.
I want them young boys that you got over there
Kuzma and Ball.
who I can develop. That's who I want.
Yeah.
If I'm the New Orleans Pelicans,
Yeah.
Right.
that's who I want. I don't really want expiring contracts per se because I mean, Rajon Rondo just came from New Orleans,
Mhm.
right? You know, and was he not, you know, hurt in the playoffs or not? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so I'm not really worried about expiring contracts.
He pulled
like
the
that.
Chris
maybe-
Paul.
Especially a
and
KCP.
maybe in a year or two, I think Quan was talking about this too, about New Orleans relocating to Vegas.
Yes.
We might be watching the Seattle Sonics right now on TV.
They need to
Interesting.
give Seattle back their team. That's just what they need to do, man. Seattle is.
I don't think
basketball town,
Mrs.
man.
Benson wants 2 sports franchises to really deal with.
Right.
I don't think she knows how to deal with both. Hopefully she doesn't and just
Right.
makes this trade right
Yeah.
away.
Sure.
Mm.
Well,
Because I think they said she might want to sell it.
And a lot of Laker fans are like, no trade if they have to send Kuz away. Dude, let me tell you
They
something.
don't watch basketball.
I want to keep
it's
Kuz.
crazy.
Look,
I don't understand.
I want to
that.
keep Kuz, but look, I'm 43. I want to keep my hair forever. But guess what? At some point in time, I have to let it go.
LIG that thing, dog. Take a
If
razor to it.
especially if somebody is offering you something you can't refuse for your locks.
Because
Are you going to give those up?
An
I
offer
prom-
you can't refuse.
Like right now, somebody walks in, just offers you a bag full of a lot of money.
like if they said right now,
Yeah.
I'll give you 10 racks for all of your locks right now, I'll cut it before I even leave the
Give it
studio.
up.
I'll do it on air right now.
So even though you
And that-
love Kuzma,
Yeah.
they're offering, if you could possibly get Anthony Davis, one of the
Come
best
on,
players
man.
in the league for
Come
him,
on, man.
we love Kuzma. I like Ingram still. I like Ball still. I give them up
Yes.
easily
Yes.
without even thinking
Not even thinking.
for Anthony Davis.
Not even thinking.
And
about
you
it.
still have cap space.
Yep.
And you're going to
Plenty
get all
of
those
it, too.
people that are ring chasing
Yep.
to play for the minimum.
Yep.
Some veterans that would probably ask for more money somewhere else
Yep.
that you'll be able to get.
And as it stands right now, without adding another max player, right now as it stands, the Lakers are looking at $70 million in cap space, close to roughly
Yeah.
around that. So you're looking at signing Anthony Davis or bringing his money over on his current deal, where he's at about $36 million right now.
Yep.
So you still have room to sign another max player. Like, what is there to think about? LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and another max.
And somebody will come if Anthony Davis is there too,
No
because they know
question.
LeBron, 3 years left.
Yeah.
You're going to get 3 more years of LeBron at least. And then it's Anthony Davis and your team. If that's Kawhi Leonard, if that's
Right.
Kyrie Irving is
Right.
now in the news.
You know what I
wanting to
would-
go play back with LeBron.
You know what I would do, man, that just will piss Laker fans off? I would give up Brandon Ingram right now to the Indiana Pacers for a coming off a fresh injury Oladipo.
Oh, I'd make
Boy,
that trade. I'll
bye.
make that trade. No doubt.
Bye.
We're
Indiana
sitting now.
Indiana
Come back
Pacers
healthy.
need a little help right now. Send Brandon Ingram over there to help him out.
Yeah.
And we'll wait till
We'll wait.
Oladipo get healthy.
Oh, we'll wait.
Did Oladipo just get paid though?
I don't think his
Where's
bag.
where's
I don't think his
contract?
bag was crazy.
Yeah,
It was what we would consider a mid-level deal now.
because I know we don't want to take any money right now.
Right, and it was a mid-level deal. What we would consider
Yeah.
mid-level right now, probably around the 16, 17 million
Okay.
range, which is not a lot of money in
No.
today's NBA.
Not at all.
It's not a lot of money at all.
No. Yeah.
That's what put it this way. That's what D Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh were making when they.
But
formed
we don't want to give
the
up
Heatles.
Zubac. Boy, sit down.
Hey, thank God Zubac's been balling the
yeah.
last 2 weeks to
did.
give him some trade
Right,
value.
Exactly.
That helps
Exactly.
us out.
Exactly.
Lonzo seems to get hurt every time his
Guess
his
what they're
name
doing
is
this time?
mentioned.
Hey, you're hurt. We're still trading you.
Your guy, Dre Bailey.
Hey, your man Goose Thomas.
Mr. Controversy himself. Bill Block'em Logan. Caller. What's your name? What's your question?
Hey, what up, you guys? It's David and Sebair. How's it going?
Dave from
Yeah,
the
man.
Bay.
What's up with it,
dog?
man?
What's up?
Man, I'm agreeing with you guys, Ray. I know we were texting in our group chat earlier. You know, I'd give up Kuzma. I like what he's done, but I mean, Anthony Davis is just on a whole
It's
another level,
bro.
and you know, you're thinking like, you know, the Lakers. You know, you had Kobe, he had the torch for the NBA for a while. LeBron has it now, and now AD's gonna have the torch, and all three of those guys were Lakers. You know what I mean? So it kind of looks good for the franchise. You got the man, the face of the league, and AD will be the face of the league once Braun is gone. And I just think it works out. It just worked out well for Laker fans. If this happens, Magic Johnson, I give him all the props in the world if it does happen, because he's the reason Lonzo Ball has so much value. He's the reason Ingram has so much value, because he just says, I'm not going to trade this guy. Like, these guys are really good. He's always, like, pumping them up, and he's saying no to other deals, and he's not entertaining other deals. And I think that all this set up for this moment now to trade these guys who I think are mediocre besides Kuzma for an elite player that's basically going to be the face of the NBA.
Basically.
Checkmate.
So,
Dave with the checkmate.
So Magic did his job, right? Like, you got to give Magic his prospect. And if he pulls this trade off without giving up Ingram, well, you're going to ship off like 5 players for one. So now you got Ingram. Well, now ship off Ingram and go get 3-4 role players to come off the bench, because you're basically bare once you get AD.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But if I say that, it's considered hate talk. I'm glad you called and talked about what we were talking about.
That's not hate, man. That's just knowing the game and the structure. Like, that's not. See, this is why you can't debate sports with everybody, man. This is why. This is why you can't, because you get a lot of people that go in with their heart and soul and they not thinking. You gotta think, bro. Think. Just think, man. That's not even the structure of the league, bro. Think with your mind, bro. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do, man.
And everybody in the league is everybody in the league real quick. Everybody in the league is playing against one team right now.
Yeah,
you're building your team against the Golden State Warriors.
Absolutely.
So you're not winning right now with this team constructed.
No.
So you have to get what? At least 2 more.
Got to
stars to compete with them.
Got to. Has to happen.
Go ahead, bro. My bad.
Oh, no, I was just saying, you were saying most people, they don't think, but just most people don't really understand the game. They understand maybe they understand putting in buckets, right, and making passes. But there's the front office aspect. There's the aspect of trying to meet salary cap. I don't think a lot of people even know that they've went hard on luxury tax. Like, if the Warriors are at a point now, if they would have gave, I think it was Patrick McCaw, if they would have gave him the $2 million, they would have to drop like another 18 on top of that for luxury tax. So, like, it's just ridiculous. They made it this way, so you couldn't be like the Bulls or the Lakers or the Celtics back in the days. They want more parity, but all it is now is a deeper pockets win.
Exactly.
You know, so.
And that sounds like a payday loan.
Basically.
$2 million for 18? That's a bad payday loan, bro. Dollar loan center. That's exactly what that sounds like. APR, right? Are you kidding me?
Boy, look at that markup.
That's a hell of a markup, bro. Damn. For $2 million, which is chump change in this NBA. 18 M's on top of it? Yikes.
It's crazy. So even at the point now where they're like, oh, if Durant doesn't sign, people are like, oh, well, you could sign, because, right? No, you can't, because you are so far over the cap that even when you get rid of Durant, you're still over the cap. You can't sign this guy to a max deal. You got to give him the veteran mediocre, whatever it's called.
And that's exactly why Boogie Cousins got that vet minimum. He wasn't. Come on, man. That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to happen. No way. Coming off an Achilles injury, we ain't finna give you that money like that.
Nah, man.
Negative. Can't do it.
Tragic.
Won't do it. Got to understand the structure of this league, man. You got to understand, just understanding the structure of pro sports, period. I mean, arguing the game itself is all fine and good, but you have to understand both sides, man. You have to.
I think a lot of Laker fans see the promise with these dudes.
Sure, no doubt.
But
and you don't want to make the same mistake twice, like you did with Russell and you did with Randall. Right.
And then it comes to the point where now, like you said, this is AD.
Come on, bro.
Do you want a promise or a guarantee?
Yeah, this is a no-brainer.
This is another animal.
It's a no-brainer.
And giving off of Kuzma. No, Laker fans don't want to do that, but
like
hard
AD,
decisions need to be made.
Anthony Davis is the most complete basketball player in the National Basketball Association. Right now.
Yes, he
Right
is.
now, as we speak,
Yeah.
Anthony Davis is the
Yeah.
most complete basketball
Hard
player in the world,
decisions.
bro.
Hard
Yeah.
decisions need to be made.
He runs the floor. He defends. He can pass. He rebounds. He scores. He sells Cracker Jacks. What don't this dude do?
Well, Dave, man,
And he's 25 years old,
He's
right?
That
25.
Yeah.
He's
That part.
25, Dave.
He hasn't even hit his prime yet.
He sure hasn't
hit his prime.
bro.
And
Well, I would
Unbelievable.
trade everything. What do you want? You want
What do you want,
you want
sir?
whatever Pat Riley's hairpiece? You throw everything in there, man.
Anything.
Give Magic's medication.
Yeah,
Anything.
yeah,
You
man.
can have it.
that's tragic.
You can have it.
Take EJ and his whole entourage.
Wow.
Dave, we appreciate the phone call, bro.
Salute,
Yeah,
Dave.
for sure, man. Yeah, good show, man. I do want to call in earlier when you were talking about Bust and Lynn Bias and stuff, but I was waiting for this AD talk. So
Yes,
And
indeed.
let,
you
me,
guys,
let me ask you
man,
this.
just keep it up.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
this before you leave, man. Who were some of your favorite players in college that you actually got a chance to
college?
see play?
You talking about like in obviously basketball,
In
right?
basketball, yeah.
Well, I did like Carmelo
Okay.
for sure.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that,
Great.
Oh, yeah.
that whole
Excellent.
run.
Yep.
I loved watching UNLV with Ryder and all them,
Mhm.
and Plastic Man and all those cats.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
And then obviously UCLA with Tyus Edney, Cameron
Ooh,
Dollar.
Tyus
I re-
Edney.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
I remember
Tyson.
that run. That was a good run too.
Yeah,
So
it was.
those are some of the things that I still remember as good runs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tyus Edney, bro.
Yeah, he played for Sacramento for a little bit.
Wow.
Tyus Edney.
Yeah.
So,
It's a
yeah,
good one
great,
right
man.
there,
Dave,
bro.
we appreciate the phone call, bros.
Appreciate you,
Yeah, for
Dave.
sure, man.
Spot on, man.
I used to
Spot
love to
on.
watch, and this is from the Rebels early 80s. Richie Adams.
Richie Adams was good,
Mm.
man.
Man, Richie Adams was unstoppable on the block, dude.
About Sidney Green.
Yeah,
New
Sidney
York
Green.
Richie.
Sidney Green. I'm going to throw a name that probably y'all don't even know.
Sydney was
All
New,
three
New
of y'all.
York too. New
Um,
York, Sydney.
This guy was one of my favorite UNLV running rebels, and he just seemed to me to drop off the face of the earth. Dexter Boney.
Yeah, I knew you was about to say.
That
You've mentioned him
was
before.
my
You've
guy.
mentioned
Yeah.
Dexter Boney
He hit a
before.
game-winning shot in
Yeah.
preseason for the Lakers.
Yeah.
At Thomas and Mack Center.
Did he?
Yeah.
Dexter
I
Boney.
was at that game. Got some pictures.
Wow.
We used to be. Let me tell you, me and CJ Clarence.
Shout out CJ
Yeah.
Long, man.
We used to be at UNLV playing against these dudes all the time
Right.
back in the early '90s,
Mm.
late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was like, dude, I mean, you had to go out there and bring your game
Sure.
for sure.
You come into the
if-
if you come
if
into the
you
South
went out
Gym,
there-
you better
If you
strap
went to
them
the North and South
strap
Gym,
them boots up, man.
you better go there. I'm telling you,
Yeah, man.
because it was warfare out there.
Yes, indeed.
And-
Absolutely.
and, we used to hold our own out there.
Yes, indeed.
That's
man.
how we
Patrick
CJ.
Spivey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Laker fans, man, calm down already. I
Chill
mean,
out, man.
you guys
It's okay.
have a couple more years to continue to
Yes,
build.
it's
You don't have
okay.
to do it all this year.
No, it's not gonna happen this year.
No.
It's not.
No.
That's
With
the
or without
problem.
him. With or without him.
That's
Yeah,
the problem.
With or without him.
That's
But
the
you might as
problem.
well get him.
You might as well
Might
get
as
him
well get him.
and go after who you really want next
Exactly.
year.
Yeah.
That's what you do. That's what you do,
Yes,
man.
indeed, man.
Great show today, man.
Yes, indeed,
Yeah.
man. Super Bowl coming up next
Yes.
week.
Super Bowl.
Yes.
We will be at Eclipse
Okay.
Theaters for Super Bowl Sunday. Our Saturday show. Shout out to Carl Littles,
Mm-hmm.
owner of the Originals Barbershop. We will be live at the Originals Barbershop on Saturday for our Super Bowl show.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to stop by.
You never know.
You just never know.
Mhm.
Because the barbershop is where it goes down anyway.
Yeah.
So you never know who's going to stop by and bless us
Yeah.
with their presence.
LTBB, man. Let the ball bounce at gmail.com, man.
Yes,
Please
sir.
reach out to us if you want to be a sponsor, man. We would really appreciate that. And it's going to help you out.
Yeah.
We trying to put you on. We already on.
We on.
We trying to put you on, man. Let the ball bounce at Gmail. Let the ball bounce at gmail.com, man. Also, let the ball bounce on Twitter, man, and that's with one T. And continue to follow Let the Ball Bounce on Facebook, man. We are the hottest sports talk group on the actual page, man. Ask a friend, tell somebody.
Telling you.
And hit us up, man, and be involved in the conversation, man.
Greg,
we appreciate
what you got on, man?
Man, Greg, if you don't sit
With that smoker's jacket on.
Is that New York Greg?
No.
No. That's New York Greg.
Yeah, he's trying to get caught up in this thing again.
Smoker's jacket on.
Here's the deal with Greg Anthony, real quick. In an interview, he said that he was from New York. Fool, you went to Colonel McCall. You is from Donna. Stop it.
Oh, my God.
You went to Jim Bridger Middle School,
yes,
sir.
Yes, you did.
Marion E. Kalin, Rancho High School.
And you
don't quit it.
He
and
is trying to forget all that.
And you stood on the Donna wall over at Rancho.
You stood on the Donna wall like all of us did. You done stepped foot inside 2516 Bullock Apartment C.
Man, please.
You and my sister was best friends. Cut it out.
Cut it out already. Your guy, Dre Bailey.
Your man, Goose Thomas.
Mr. Controversy,
alone,
William Blockham Logan. In the building, man. Every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Coming up every Saturday also at 2 p.m., man. We look forward to seeing you guys in a couple of days, man.
Indeed.
Stay tuned for more great sports talk radio show, man. If you're scared,
you better go to church.
Hey.